Good morning, friends. I welcome you again to this channel, Dr. Vipul V. Kapoor. Let's learn. Friends, in this video, today we are going to discuss Geoffrey Chaucer and his contribution to English literature. Friends, Chaucer was born in 1343 and died in 1400. Geoffrey Chaucer is considered as the first poet of English literature. Chaucer is mainly known for his masterpiece, the Canterbury Tales. And this Canterbury Tales is considered as one of the greatest poetic works in English. The contribution of Geoffrey Chaucer to English literature is immense and is commendable because, number one, he was the first poet in English literature, so scholars, the critics call him as the father of English poetry. And number two, his narrative style. And number three, his pictorial quality. Chaucer is known as the best pictorial artist. It is through his pen and paper that he has drawn so many beautiful sketches, so many beautiful character sketches, and that is considered as the most important contribution of Geoffrey Chaucer. Chaucer's body of best known works includes the Parliament of Fowls. Sometimes it is also known as the Parlement, Parlement, of Fowls, Foules, as written in the Middle English spelling. Some historians of Chaucer's work assert that it was written in 1380 during marriage negotiations between Richard and Anne of Bohemia. But this work of Chaucer is less important in comparison to his Canterbury Tales. Chaucer is believed to have written the poem Troilus and Cresside sometimes in the mid 1380s. And this narrative poem tells the tragic love story of Troilus in the context of Trojan War. Chaucer wrote this poem using rhyme royal, R-I-M-E-R-O-Y-A-L, rhyme royal, a technique which it is believed Chaucer himself originated. Rhyme royal involves rhyming stanzas consisting of 7 lines in a stanza. Troilus and Cresside is broadly considered as one of Chaucer's greatest works and has a reputation of being more complete and self-contained than most of Chaucer's writing. His famed Canterbury Tales, no doubt, is an exception. The Canterbury Tales is by far his most important work, as I told you in the beginning. And initially, Chaucer had planned for each of his characters to tell 4 stories in every piece. The first 2 stories would be sat as the character was on his or her way to Canterbury, and the second two were to take place as the character was heading home. Apparently, Chaucer's goal of writing 120 stories was an overly ambitious one. In actuality, the Canterbury Tales is made up of only 24 tales. So, Chaucer had a plan to write total 120 stories in the Canterbury Tales, but he ended up with only 24 tales, and that's why, this work, the Canterbury Tales, is considered as an incomplete work. The tales which are there with us are also fragmented and varied in order, and scholars continue to debate whether the tales were published in the correct order or not. We are not sure about that, whether they were published in proper order. Despite its erratic qualities, the Canterbury Tales continues to be acknowledged for the beautiful rhythm of Chaucer's language and his characteristic use of clever satirical wit. This Canterbury Tales, is full of satire, wit, humor. It has, a touch of realism, and it has all good qualities as a good painting, because Chaucer has painted a large number of great characters with his pen. At the end, we may say that Chaucer, the greatest poet of the Middle Ages, wrote this Canterbury Tales, and that's why he is known as the father of English literature, because he was the first one to start writing literature in his own vernacular. He is also known as the father of English poetry. He was the first writer to be buried in what has since come to be called Poets' Corner in Westminster Abbey. Chaucer also gained fame as a philosopher and astronomer, composing the scientific treatise on the astrolabe. Chaucer, what is more important for us to know about Chaucer is that, he used a new pattern in his poetry, and he was among the first to use his vernacular English, his native English language. The language which was used by the common people in conversation, that has been used by Chaucer in his Canterbury Tales. In Chaucer's time, mostly the literary texts or literature was generally written in French language, and French was considered a more noble and scholarly language by the people of this middle times. So it was during this period, during 14th century, that Chaucer, showed the world, showed the man of his country that yes, we can write literature in our own mother tongue, in our own vernacular, in our own native language. And Chaucer did it very successfully, and that's why we have, that's why the scholars, the critics, They give much importance to the poetry written by Geoffrey Chaucer. Thank you.